For your information, women in Islam were given their rights 1400 years ago. Rights that only were given to you 60 years ago, and you're still fighting for it. You need to learn to understand and differentiate between what some Muslims do and what their religion teaches. Now, that was very touching to me. And that's when the light bulb came to my head. I said, well, what about if I start a program to reach out to professors, to churches, to teachers, and try to educate them about the real teaching of Islam, not what they see on TV and other places. And that's when the idea of Peace Ambassador. So we went ahead in April of 2012. It took time because I was so busy with the project before that, which is the Islamic Center of Tennessee, and I was busy before that with the Islamic Center of Nashville. So it became, it's not a dream, a live dream. Took a while
but
to be.
It took a
while, and it was accomplished. Thank God for it. So we did. We signed up and we started. Now, at the beginning, we used one of our mosques. Still continuing to do visitations, visit churches and stuff. But what ends up happening, we needed a place because the dream is big. We want to have our own radio station. We want to have our own IMAX theater. We want to have our own programs where we're going to be providing free Arabic classes, free English classes, free Spanish classes, free legal consultations, free domestic violence consultations, soup kitchens. We want to have our own free legal consultations and all these things. We want to show the community the true face of our religion through interaction and services. See, this is something that I always say to my brothers. We talk a lot, but when the time comes for action, we don't do enough action. We need to change that. We need to get out of that box of self-imposed isolation as a community and start reaching out to the people around us. I'll give you an example. I went to a church a few months ago in a nearby state of Nashville. And usually before I go to a church, I check the background of the church, what kind of denomination, even the age difference and male or female. It helps to cater the speech to fit your audience.
Very good.
I didn't have the time to do so. So I said, okay, I'll just go. And when I got there, usually I start by cracking a joke. And my name really cracks a joke. My name is Yasser Arafat, a well-known name, yes, no relationship. And that's what I do. I say, well, thank you very much for inviting me. Salam, shalom, peace. My name is Yasser Arafat, no relationship to the Palestinian leader. Usually people laugh. That church, nobody laughed. I said, oh my God, what I got myself. So right away, I switched the style of approach. So I said, first, thank you for inviting me. Second, I got a question. It's a silly question, but please bear with me. Who of you know where did Jesus Christ come from? And of course, they all raised their hands. Where from? Jerusalem. I said, correct, where is Jerusalem? He said, the Middle East. I said, wonderful, wonderful. Now, where do you think I come from? Probably from the Middle East. I said, correct. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you really think that Jesus Christ, who came from the Middle East, will most likely look like me or you? And the atmosphere completely changed. I said, the reason I'm saying this is just in case there is any kind of prejudice, please remove it and listen to us. That is the message of Peace Ambassadors, reaching out, bringing people together, educating about ourselves from each other rather from someone else.
Very good. And of course, you started this organization in
April 2012.
2012, and,
yes.
And the organization is growing now, and you're reaching out. Are you the only person that's involved in that organization, or have you got a core of
No, we have a board. We have a board. We have the executive committee. We have a board of directors. And by the way, we purchased the building. We are at the beginning. We're about to have an initial opening this Saturday, the 22nd of March.
Very good. And of course, we're going to take our second commercial break, and then we're going to come back and talk. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Thank you and welcome to the final segment of the show for today. The name of the topic for today is Peace Ambassadors USA, and we're fortunate to have with us the founder and executive director of Peace Ambassador USA, Mr. Yasser S. Arafat, who has given us some information about his background and the founding of this organization. Now, Mr. Arafat, let's look at some of the issues that I'm sure that your organization has had to deal with dealing with the Middle East. And let's talk about what you might consider some of the most important issues in the Middle East over the next 8 or 10 minutes.
Basically, if you look at the foreign policy of the United States of America in the Middle East, I mean, from study and from reading and from understanding the issue, you find there are two major things that we deal with in the Middle East: oil and the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. These are the two major things. Oil is being secured. We have good relationship with the region, at least the governments of the region, and so we have a good flow, so we're not going to have to go through the embargo of the 70s. And second is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and this is, to be honest with you, is the crucial, the most important issue in that part of the world. I see our foreign policy of our government failing, and it has been failing for a long time. It's unfortunate to say that. And it's failing because there is no genuineness involved. Once we become a just broker to reach peace, it'll become much easier for us to bring people on the table. When we are just and we are equal to both parties, things will take place, peace will materialize. Without justice, equality, respect, peace cannot be in place. You can't expect to come to take over my land, prosecute me, kill me, starve me, and then have peace my way or the highway. I believe that as the greatest country in the world, that greatness comes with a huge responsibility. Whether we like it or not, we do have a responsibility in that part of the world, because we are one of the reasons that we are the main supporter of the state of Israel, basically. So we should have some kind of leverage if we want to use it. I understand AIPAC and other lobbyists do have an impact in Congress and the White House, but still, the national interests of the United States of America should come first before any other national interests of any other entities. I believe, this is what I believe, and I'm sure there are many people out there who believe such a thing, that 9/11, for example, is a direct result of our foreign policy in that part of the world.
9/11?
9/11, I do believe that very, very strongly. Why do I believe this? If you look at what the terrorists do and say, they do use the Palestinian cause to recruit terrorists, to do a lot of things. And that Palestinian cause and dilemma really does resonate in the hearts of the Arabs. There are 300 million Arabs who do not like the state of Israel. They consider it to be a cancer in the heart of the Arab nation. Go back to history. That's not the case. A lot of people think that, oh, the Arabs and the Jews have been fighting each other for thousands of years. That's not correct. The Arabs and the Jews are cousins. The Arabs are the descendants of Ishmael, the Jews are the descendants of Isaac, and both are the children of Abraham, peace be upon them all. So that is, you look, again, near history, 18th century, 19th century, when the Israelites and the Jews were put in ghettos in Europe, their cousins welcomed them with open arms. So they came, they settled in Turkey, they settled in Yemen, in Morocco, and other places. So there is no hate relationship. There is, as a matter of fact, there is a beautiful organization, I think of Hasidic Jews, who stand up and say the truth as is. They said that we used to babysit for the Arabs, and they babysit for us when we used to go to the Sabbath. That's kind of the relationship they used to have until the Zionist movement came and whatever happened. So I believe that as a greatest country in the world, with our President Obama, who we respect, even though we disagree with a lot of his policies, especially in the Middle East, I believe there is a chance for peace. I went to a synagogue a while back to give a talk, and I stood up and I said, I want to start an experiment with you, my friends. Close your eyes and visualize the following. Two little babies, 9 months old, both naked, both with a bullet in the middle of their chest. They're both dead. They're being washed, cleaned, and prepared to be buried. Now, one of them is an Arab and the other one is a Jew. Would you please tell me which one is? Which is which? You cannot.
No.
You can't. These both innocent babies being killed by bullets. Who's to blame? The babies? No, us. What have we done to reach out? If we do not become a just broker and reach out and use the leverage that we have against Israel and bring them together to the table for them to compromise and accept the UN resolution. And I don't know if you've read this, in 2002 in the Beirut summit, the Arab summit, Arab League, there was a Saudi initiative which told Israel, accept the UN resolutions, go back to the 1967 borders, allow the Palestinians to have their own states, and we will normalize all relationships with the state of Israel. We will recognize the state of Israel, we'll open borders, and we'll have just a regular relation just like any other state. Question is, why didn't Israel accept such a thing? They say the Arabs don't want a peace, the Arabs don't want peace. That is not true. It's unfortunately, that is not true. But what we need to do right now is to ask our government, and in particular our President Obama, to really make better choices for our own safety in this country. There is a lot of resentment, and if we do not reach the peace of hands, and that's what we're going to try to do in Peace Ambassadors, reach out to people here and over there and tell them, hey, as people, we could create a powerful segment of society where we could influence the decisions that are made in the government. We want to live in peace, but we want to also let others live in peace. If we come into the Palestinians and say, as American people, which I believe American people, I was in Kuwait last year and I said something on the radio. I said American people are the most generous, most God-loving people I've ever seen in my life. And the person who was given the interview was like, you sure? I said, yes, I am one of them. So again, they don't know us like we don't know them. And through these kind of reach out programs and communication and peace ambassador programs, I think we could foster a better way of reaching out and getting to know each other. I was one day in the church, and one of the people there asked me, Mr. Arafat, why do you guys worship statue? See, they think that Muslims worship a statue, his name is Allah, and that is the moon god. And that's why we have the crescent on the top of the buildings. It has nothing to do, we don't have such a thing as the moon god. So I don't blame them, to be honest with you.
Because they don't know.
They don't know. I blame myself and the Muslims in general. What have we done to reach out? When was the last time you knocked the door of your neighbor and told them, hey, I'm a Muslim, would you like to come for dinner? When was the last time you talked to your classmate or co-worker or whatever? A lot of Muslims shy away, and again and again and again, I do blame myself and my community for not reaching out more, and we are planning to change that.
And so you believe that the organization that you are the founder and the executive director, the Peace Ambassadors in USA, can play a significant role in terms of reaching out and making people understand both sides of any kind of question that might be raised dealing with any problems that you might have in the Middle East.
Absolutely.
Is that what we're saying?
Absolutely. What we're going to do, we're going to start with our own neighbors next door. That's what we start building, those kind of good relationships. You can't just reach out to next city when you have problems with the own people next door. You got to start with your own, those who are around you. We're going to start by reaching out, educating, creating these programs, having something called intellectual club, where we bring professors and we bring doctors and other people with professions to give lectures and talk from all faiths and background. We will host that, and we will help and facilitate such action. We believe by continuing to do such things will change. Might not happen tomorrow, but you got to start somewhere.
It's better.
Look at the civil rights movement in the United States. Look at all these movements that started. They didn't just happen overnight. There were a lot of sacrifice and a lot of time that took place. But again, this is the land of dreams, and we believe we can accomplish it.
And so you do believe that you've got an organization that people can buy into, and it will